guys, welcome. I'm gonna go live on IG really quick. I feel like we're just gonna do that every time. I've done it for the last couple times, so we're just gonna do that as well. But welcome in, guys. Super pumped to have you here, and even more excited about tonight's guest because let me tell you, I have changed a lot of what I do on an everyday basis based around this app and like scheduling myself and time and everything to do that. So I'm pretty pumped to really get into some questions that I feel like not just myself, but other people definitely want to know about. So pretty pumped, and we're going to bring him on in just a second. Let me get my stuff going. All right, cool. So we are live on IG. Hey guys, welcome in, welcome in. There's everybody. There they are. Transferring over to YouTube. Absolutely craziness. Hey guys, welcome in. We are live over on YouTube. We are doing our second episode. It would have been our third one had I not had to cancel, but we are doing our second episode, I guess, of our little Collectors Anonymous, and we have a wonderful guest on for tonight. I'm really, really excited. So, enough of the weird, like, secretive, it's whatnot. I have the amazing dude that, created this app. I wish, I'm gonna get inside his brain tonight. It's gonna be good. We have a lot of things we're gonna go through, a lot of different questions, and some like prying issues and opinions. So I'm pumped. I hope you are too. And I'm going to bring him on in just a second. Hey, IG. All right, guys, over on YouTube. All right. I'll see you guys there. So many flipping comments. I can't read what anybody says. All right. Are you guys ready? We are going to be bringing on Logan. So Logan, genius. Really. But Funko Pop, hey guys, welcome in, welcome in. So we're gonna be bringing on Logan, and I have a million questions. Probably not gonna get to them all, but we are gonna get to a majority of them. We're gonna answer. I have a lot of your guys' questions in here as well, and let's freaking do this. So let's bring on Logan and let's get to like some questions because I can't even think straight right now. My mind is just overwhelmed. All right, let's do it.
Hey, Jesse. Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, Logan, welcome on.
Super stoked to answer questions for you and hang out with you all. So,
Retro Nerd. Speaking of, yes, they have. I just hit that button today that said, like, bulk send everybody's out. Yes, UPS finally came today. So, there's a thing. Welcome in, Logan. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. Are you ready?
Yeah, it's great to be here. Yeah, I am. So it's great to interact with people and answer their questions.
Yeah. So I may have missed it, but have you gone on I feel like this is like the first time people are seeing your face if they don't have you.
So I've only been on two other lives before. One is on Curtis Mystery Pop Peter's channel, and then recently, or hold on, where was I? No, I was also on the Luau's live once, and then also recently I did a podcast with a couple people, and this was last week. So,
okay, cool. Oh,
so I don't think my face was shown on that.
That's right, Luau. Wow. Okay, cool. So, all right, one of the few times people get to see you, but I'm really pumped that, you said yes and are going to let me harass you with questions. So pretty much before I get into anything super crazy, I just kind of want to start with, the normal small stuff. So if you can give us a little brief description on you yourself, Logan. So
sure.
Who are you? What do you do?
Cool. So my name is Logan, and temporarily I'm in Temecula right now. I'm staying in an Airbnb, about to move to Los Angeles. And so what do I like to do? Well, I love to collect. I got into Funko Pops probably about 3 years ago. And how I got into Funko Pops was prior to that, I was working at a company called Goat,
Okay.
where it pioneered, I would say, like the sneaker reselling mecca. And I was really into sneakers and collecting sneakers. And a lot of my coworkers started collecting Funko Pops. And so that was kind of like, yeah, how I got started. Other than that, yeah, I'm also a software developer. I've been a software developer for about 11 years. I taught myself how to code when I was like a kid. I never got a degree in computer science or anything, but generally
That's
my
so
career
fun.
has been around software development. So yeah.
Speaking of coding, I spent like 3 hours a few weeks ago reading about enough coding to be able to change the font on my
To change
website.
the font. Oh, okay. So you're doing CSS.
Yep.
That's
That
technically
little
that's
bit. I
that's
felt
technically not
so
code.
smart. I was like, what? Coding? Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Um,
3 hours it took for me to be able to like change the font that I wanted on my website to like download
okay.
something else.
Cool. Good for you. You
Craziness.
should keep it up. I'd love to
God,
see a website that you make from scratch.
persistence. All right. So, along with the beginning of you, tell us a little bit about why you decided to start Whatnot. Where did it
Cool.
come from?
So I'm not the only co-founder of Whatnot. There's another person named Grant. And Grant, him
Okay.
and I have known each other for 5 years. We met each other in New York. And it just so happened that we both were in LA at the same time because both of our jobs relocated us there. And so we both wanted to start something at some point. He was really into Pokemon cards, and I was more into Funko Pops. And at the time, I was working for a company, like I said, called Goat. And Goat came into existence because there was a big flaw in the way that people were buying and selling sneakers. A lot of it was unsafe. People were buying things on eBay and there would be disputes. And so what Goat did is create this sort of authentication model where, everything that gets purchased goes to them to get physically verified and then goes off to the buyer. And so a lot of like the same issues around sneakers apply to Funko Pops and also just like collectibles in general.
Mhm.
And so Grant and I thought that, it would be interesting to, just like put up a website and, work with a couple sellers that we know, a lot of inventory and kind of like build up from there. The long-term vision of what we really wanted Whatnot to be was like this all-in-one collecting destination, because like if you think about collecting, it's a community-driven hobby and
Yeah.
it's very fragmented, right? So there's like Discord groups to Facebook to Instagram to eBay,
Yeah.
and there's nothing that really unifies that experience. And it's something like you like to do with your friends, but when you go to these marketplaces, they're really boring. There's no like social element to it,
Yeah.
and they're super transactional. It's just like really about like the purchase experience. And so our grand vision of Whatnot was always to add like this social element into it, but it took us a while to get there because as we were building out Whatnot, we kind of did one step at a time. And so we first launched with the website, then we launched the app, and with the app we started getting people to it. But like on the app, you could only buy, and then we were integrating with a few sellers' inventory, so most people couldn't even sell. At some point, we opened up selling, and then we've started adding in the social pieces, like adding profile photos,
Mhm.
and then eventually the live piece, which seems to be taking off. So yeah,
Okay.
that's how Whatnot came about.
That's, I mean, like an all-in-one collector base. I like it.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, and we're still very infant in terms of what we want to do with a platform. Just keep in mind, it's not because we can't do it. It's more of a resource thing. So we're right. Our team, we're growing. We're hiring other software developers to like really help amplify the experience and add the features that we want. So it's like the ability to chat with other people or go and discuss about a particular topic. Like those are things that we want to add, which really drive the community side.
okay. Wow. All right. So I have like one or two things more I'm gonna ask before like I really get into some questions that I really want to talk about. But so what I mean, I know just for people that may not have been using Whatnot that long, may have never used Whatnot, what there are so many selling platforms, and I know that Whatnot is so much more than just like a selling platform. So can you give just a few things as to why you might be different than eBay, Macari, so on and so forth?
Sure, I can give you a bunch
A
of different
million?
reasons. In terms of eBay, there's a few, and Macari. I mean, they're if you think about eBay and Macari, they're pretty identical. One is the safety side of things. So, in terms of our general marketplace, every single listing is actually manually reviewed by someone. I can't like say that a picture tells you everything. Sometimes it's really hard to see if a picture is accurate. But what
Yeah.
I'm saying is, like that's like one difference is between Macari and eBay. Like we actually have a thorough review process of everything that goes on our marketplace. Um, Secondly, let's see, the community side. Macari and eBay doesn't really have much of a community. Um, and so,
That one
fostering
you want to be a
relationships
part of.
fostering relationships and all that. What's interesting is usually every Sunday I actually hang out with a lot of our users privately on like a video chat, and they all met each other through Whatnot, which is kind of interesting. And one of them is dating. I'm not going to say who, and a lot of them would know who these users are, but I think that's like a really powerful thing. On top of that, what other differences are there? Yeah, I think around Macari and eBay, their catalog is kind of a mess. So if it's like you go to a particular product, you have to search for it and you're scanning through a bunch of listings. Some of the listings aren't probably the product that you're looking for. And so, what we're doing is building a really in-depth product catalog where it's like easy to find a particular product and you can go to it and see all the listings that pertain to that product. And also, it's still infinite, but we're like really working on robust market information around like pricing, price history, what we think like the recommended market value is, and what maybe the market value could be in a month from now, given X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
So that's providing like data that informs the buyer and the seller. And then
That's
obviously the live stream component. I mean, you can't go live on eBay and Macari. So
no.
and and
Uh
and, and in terms of eBay auctions, they're completely different than our auctions. So
Worldwide gamers, hey, thank you for being here. Welcome in, Whatnot. Yeah, man.
thank you. I
It's,
appreciate
I mean, my go-to now too, man.
it.
I schedule, I feel like everything around that. So, okay. Which this question popped up, and I have it later, but I don't, if we by chance not like don't end up getting to it, I actually do want to ask this because I think this is a part, like a huge part that people don't know about or pay attention to. But Two Boys and Their Pops asked, authenticity is guaranteed. How do you go about this process?
Yeah, so I mean, there's maybe three steps to it. So the first step is, when you go through the listing process, you actually have to take the photo of the item. You can't upload it from a camera roll, and we get a lot of people complaining about that, and I apologize. It's just like we really want to make sure that the photo is from you.
Yeah.
Thanks, the luau.
Luau. Hey,
Number
man.
two, and by the way, thank you for the chocolate. I'm still eating
Right, that
it.
box took me like a month to go through.
Yeah. Where was I at? Okay, so one was like the photo piece, and then number two is, we actually review everything, and everything that goes through our database, we're actually like collecting data on. So we have a massive catalog of images. I would say 98% of the actual Funko Pops in every single photo of each angle of the box. I'm just using Funko Pops as an example,
Yeah.
because I think you're more of a Funko Pop channel. But yeah, it's like, we're able to do a decent job. It's not 100% at, identifying different things within the photos of if it's real or not. So once the person purchases a particular thing, they have the option to have us physically verify it, or for it to go to the actual, for them to send it directly. And
Hmm.
so once it goes physically verified, that's when we can actually tell if it's real or not. And we can be very confident around that. The other piece to it is, if someone gets something and they're not happy with it, or they claim something, like we will honor a return. And so they don't have to worry about fighting with eBay and going back and forth. Like literally, we can get this resolved within a few hours. So.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you're not going to be like, no, you're wrong. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
you're uncomfortable with this, you're unhappy, here you go. I love that. I mean, I love that. All right, so I have a loaded, oh man, Deathwing. Wow.
What's up,
Hey,
Deathwing?
Logan, hi. Nice to see Logan's real face, right? Isn't it cute, guys?
Oh, thanks.
All right, so, and I'm okay with this taking up the entire chat if it does, but I have a few of like issues that I've seen many people talk about, and it's not necessarily that it's an issue. I should reword that. More of an opinion,
Okay.
I should say. Kind of like a circulating opinion that some people have and some people don't. So I'm gonna slowly dip into that with a simple question of, hey Logan, how do you get to participate on Whatnot? Now, before you answer, meaning, how do you get to make a profile, sell, buy, go live if you'd like to? Can you, you know, in a summed up version, can you tell us how that's possible? How anybody here watching
can go live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty simple question to answer. So, right now our live isn't completely open, and there's a few reasons for it. One, our tech can't handle a bunch of people going live, and so we're working on making it so we can open it up more and more. Number two is really the safety side. So we don't have a lot of the safety components in live that we do on our marketplace.
Mhm.
So on the safety side, the people that we are allowing on have to meet specific criteria right now. And that's one, like be well known in the community. So Jassy is well known. She has a YouTube channel. She's probably not going to ruin her reputation by going on live and scamming people. No. Number two is if you don't meet that criteria, develop a pretty decent history on Whatnot in the actual marketplace. So within the marketplace, like what we do, and there's several people who are on our app right now that are just from, just only sellers on Whatnot.
Yeah.
We look at things like, okay, what is your approval versus rejections on listings? Because maybe we're rejecting a lot of fakes. So this person doesn't know, how to tell from a fake. Number two is like, what is the percentage of orders that, are sold that they actually fulfill? Because some people cancel. How many strikes do they have? What is the consistency in terms of user feedback? Like, have we gotten complaints about this person? So we look into all those factors when we look at those applications, and then make the decision on, if this person is good or not, until we have the proper safety measures in place. And we are actually working on that. And so this might be news to a lot of people, but one piece of things that we're working on is a really good, robust seller review system, and also buyer review system. So it kind of goes two ways, right? Like, let's just say someone's being a troll on your live, that person should probably get a strike, and numerous strikes results you from being banned from Whatnot. Number two is like on the seller side is, we want to know how fast you ship, how good you package. And so this should all go into like, I would say post sale or post delivery. After things are delivered, you have something that you can click off, like, how was the packing? How is this? Yeah. And so then we can start surfacing that review to actual people. And so like if they go to your live or they go to you in the general marketplace, they can actually see that piece of review. And number three is for people who don't have a lot of history, what we want to do is a post-sale review. So everything that is sold on a live actually gets reviewed after, and then the shipping label gets released after it gets approved by some admin. So the way that would work is you would, maybe take a video or pictures of the things that you sold, and then we would have some person on the team, actually review that. And then what they would do is click a button, and that button would release the shipping labels to you. So,
oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't even know about that. That's a
Yeah, I mean
cool another.
it's being worked on. So I would say it's probably like 2 to 3 months out because it's a pretty big system that we're trying to put into place.
Yeah,
Um,
but
yeah, and
worth
then
it. I mean, I think a lot of people would appreciate that because it's one thing to be able to take pictures, but like
right.
that aspect is really cool.
I wanted to bring up one thing. I see Michael saying, Logan, if you lower shipping in Canada, we can spend more. One thing in terms of initiatives this year is we do want to open up selling in Canada, and we really want to dial in that experience for Canadians. So it's like if you go search in the marketplace, you're only going to see like listings that are within Canada. That way, you can save on shipping costs, and then also you can go live as well
Yeah.
within Canada. That being
Okay.
said, the reason why we can't do it right now is just because of shipping costs. We're working with USPS, and unfortunately, like we can't bring down those rates right now, and especially with COVID and shipping delays, it's not economical now. But I do see
Yeah.
it like sometime in the summer it will be.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Cool. Yeah, people talk a lot about the or ask a lot of questions rather about like international shipping, and it's a set. What is it? Is it a set international price?
So yeah, right now it's just $20, and if it goes
That's
below
what I
twenty
thought.
dollars, usually I think in Canada it's 19. We just charge them whatever
That's
USPS quotes
still
us.
cheaper than USPS. I think
Yeah,
for like one pop shipping internationally is, I mean, the minimum that I've ever had, I feel like, and not doing priority. So pretty much the
yeah.
longest way possible, I think, is like $26. So that's
Mm.
still a deal.
And then a lot of people don't know this because our UI doesn't surface it, and that's another thing we're working on. Is like if you buy more than one thing on a live, we'll bundle it, and we don't charge you for the second or third purchase.
That is my new favorite. Just like someone that goes on live, I love bundling all of that to be able to ship one package. It's amazing. Okay. So now that you have did you get through everything that you wanted to explain about
I
how
see a I see an interesting comment if I can just answer it because no one's
yeah,
ever asked me this, and I'm
feel free.
surprised no one's asked me this out of everyone I've talked to, which is how did Whatnot come in terms of a name come about? So the story
All right.
goes is Grant and I were working on this idea. We didn't know what we wanted to call it. Our first name was Always Legit. So imagine us being called Always Legit. Uh, and John,
That's it.
some of you guys might not know, or might know John, or might not know John. He's really into Pokemon, so he's in a lot of the Pokemon streams. He's one of the designers on that app. And he's like, I absolutely hate this. So what we did is we did a branding exercise, and he came up with like maybe 20 different names, and we went through each different name, and Whatnot stuck out for a couple reasons. One is the meaning behind Whatnot. Whatnot is actually a piece of furniture where you can like store antiques or collectibles. So it's kind of like a shelving unit for collectibles.
Mhm.
If you Google it, you'll see it. And then number two is it was a domain that whatnot.com we could actually acquire. And the story of how I actually acquired the domain was I reached out to the person who owned it, and he sold it for half a Bitcoin. So that's how we became Whatnot.
Wow. I mean, whatnot just as a phrase is used, I feel like, everywhere. Anytime you're describing or talking about something, blah, 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 whatnot, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's one of the, I love whatnot because it doesn't like hold you hostage to one thing, one
Yep.
collectible, one live streaming service or social platform. It's just like whatnot. And I mean,
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
totally. It's easy, and the spelling of it, as Professor Josh was pointing out, people spell it differently. The way we actually spell Whatnot is all lowercase with the W, capitalized, but we don't capitalize the N, and that's actually the proper spelling of Whatnot. But that that leads me into one other thing: is we will be rebranding things, so like changing the logo and all that. We may change it to have the N just because everyone's spelling it with the capital N.
Okay. I feel like I think maybe initially people think it's like what not 2 words, but then
Yeah,
everybody puts it together. So I don't know.
it's an actual word though. So
Is what not's a real word?
whatnot is a word.
Wow. I feel like I didn't know that. Maybe I think I definitely thought it was 2 different words. All right, enough of my horrible, any kind of
So
skills.
in terms of dictionary, whatnot is a stand with shelves for small objects, which is what I was telling you guys before, or used to refer to an item or items that are not identified but are felt to have something in common with items already named. And that's from dictionary.com.
I definitely have some like whatnots as far as shelves, maybe, but
Yeah, you got
all
some
right.
in the back.
There you go. You learned something. I mean, we're all learning something new, but like extra though, if you didn't know. If I'm not the only one, but maybe I am. Who knows? All right. So do you feel like you have explained pretty much how you can become a part of whatnot as far as buying, selling, live, etc.?
Yeah, and
Anything else?
I think there's one more thing I want to bring up, and it's really, really important. So as we build this platform, we really want to make it like a safe place for people.
Mhm.
And so you go on other platforms like Instagram or Facebook, and there's just like a lot of abusive behavior. One thing we do look at, and especially when you apply, is like how do you act on other platforms? And so it's really important for you to just be a stand-up person and, drama free, and not causing like, or not, not trolling people. And and so we also look into that.
I I can't like I've never had anybody super crazy in my life. I
Yeah.
think maybe um one of the oh by the way guys, if you didn't know, I still see a couple people asking, but if you didn't know, the whenever you go into a whatnot live and you see somebody with a controller next to their name, that means that they are an admin. So if you start acting crazy, trolling, complaining about what it's going for, blah blah blah, they have all the right in the world to flick you right off of that live. And now, when you get banned from a live, all right, I'm talking trash. I'm unhappy that PKP's Gazoo's selling for $200, and I'm talking crap. What? And now I get banned. So one of the little controller guys bans me. Then what happens?
It's a good question. So, right now we're kind of monitoring it. So we look at how many bans that you have. Let's just say that you reach a certain threshold of bans. It's like, oh, wow, this person got banned like 5 times this week. Well, this person's probably not a good person. So let's take them off the platform. So what we do is we ban them from whatnot.
I like it. I like it. So, okay. Another juicy related question, maybe. Okay.
Cool.
So I have heard, I've heard quite a few of these opinions, and it's something that I don't really agree with. And after you explain really what you do and what it's meant to do, I will then talk about my opinion. But as far as, so we're going to talk about the live stream section for a little bit. So let's say, okay, you've got your profile, you're able to go live, etc., whatever, you got the approval, you're in the featured, you're good to go. Now, what is, or can you, and I mean, if you could even understand this question, because it's like rolling around in my brain right now, but can you explain, like, almost like your, like, whatnot's job or what you guys do when we, the people, go live or schedule our lives or whatever the case is beforehand, up until going before, marketing, any part of any of that? Can you briefly describe on,
Yeah.
I mean, what it is you guys do, what you don't do, what you should do,
Maybe
etc.?
it would be helpful to give you like how we think of lives and people using lives, and then into like what do we do for that. So the way that we think of lives, I think an analogy that would be really good for it is like YouTube. Okay. So YouTube, you start and you have no followers, and you have to like do a lot of work to get your followers and actually really like get people coming to you, right? Like it's a lot
Yeah.
of work. And I have a lot of respect for people, especially like you, who's done a really good job at it. And that being
Yeah.
said, it's like when you do that, like I want to give an example. Like when you go live, you're very unique. You go in front of the camera, you dress up in a costume. No one does that, right? And so I think that drives a lot of people naturally to your live. And so, yeah, like I think, the way that we think about lives is we want people to really build a following, and we want them to build a following kind of similar like to how it applies to YouTube or even any other social network. Um, the marketing piece is, we don't really have a book by it,
So
like a book that we go off of it. So
I wanna
yeah,
slightly cut you off for 1 second before you actually. And as I'm thinking about it, I kind of actually want to go over something before you give
yeah,
your whole. So, in my opinion, and I want to reiterate that this is my opinion. You guys know that I don't really generally give it very often because I don't ever feel like it's needed unless asked for. But now, this is kind of like my whole thing. On what other app do you go on to sell that when you are about to go live, they send a message to everybody that is on that app? And if now later down the road you have, you're different, if you're like you schedule the featured, it goes out to everybody. And if you go live, on your own will, you go and everybody that follows you gets notified. Now, even just when you started, like being able to notify every single person that has that app that Jazzy's going live,
hmm
that is where else do you get that? Nowhere. I'll tell you. Like at no other live do you go anywhere that they just for free, no problem, tell everybody that you're live. Like that is so important that I feel like people don't remember, because there are people that go live and may not have. I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I mean but I feel like maybe the typical person that goes live just with featured, not featured, all in general, I feel like anywhere from maybe 50 to 150 views. It kind of like fluctuates in there wherever you are.
hmm
And
or less.
so it's just like, aside from the fact that, I mean, some people are just lazy. In no other app do they notify anybody when you're doing anything. Oh, I'm sorry, you want an ad at number 30 at the bottom of this page? It's going to be like $100. So there's just no, it's crazy that people get upset that, like you're, or that push, or they felt like maybe that push didn't do anything. It also matters, who you are, if people know you. And what a lot of people also forget is when you're buying from a company, and I mean, this might just be me, but generally, I feel like I need to trust who or whatever I'm buying from.
Yep.
So if a Joe Blow nobody, or not nobody necessarily, but somebody that doesn't like had just
It's their
came
first
on
time.
Instagram one day and decided, hey, I saw Whatnot, made a profile, whatever, and now gets to go live. Like, maybe he's okay and trustworthy, but we don't know that. So, and not for nothing, but all the people that are trustworthy, I guess as you would say, have not been that way from day one. It's taken a long time to get to that point. So, I mean, along with just things taking time, it also matters, like you said, on how often you guys ship things out, on if you ship things out at all, if you're putting up fakes, all of that comes into play. So it's like the safest way possible, but yet people still are just unhappy that they don't have 300 people in the room. And I'm going to use these two
Yep.
guys as an example, just because, I mean, whatever, it's fair to say in that collecting, I guess, would be. But I mean, Top Pops, Pop King Paul, Franchise Kicks. I mean, they have thousands of followers, guys. Like, I don't. What do you expect? And it's not that like people just want to go and watch because these guys are going live. Like Clint posts videos all the time, but when do you see Clint going live all the time? Never. So
I
it's
see
like,
Clint doing a lot of promotion for his own lives.
yeah, right. So it's, I mean, oh, like you can't. I still can't. I can't. Nowhere clear to comparing myself to these guys. So if I go live, just randomly with no whatnot push and I get 50 people in the room, like that's lower than my normal if I got a featured spot, but I am only so big and like only so many people are gonna come. Like it's from my following. And it's just, I mean, I don't have thousands and thousands of followers. So like how do you think it's going? These people want to go to watch them because they're just going live along to get whatever they're selling. But like it
Right.
takes a while to get to that point. Not everybody just like snaps a finger and is, I mean, Instagram famous. Like it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah. I think that's a good point.
If I rambled on enough.
Yeah, and I actually like around pushes and directly around that feature. So like as we expand and whatnot, and as we build it, like we will be adding a lot of different categories, and we will be modifying that to really personalize the experience for like the things that you're interested in. So if you're only interested in like Pokemon and Funko Pops, and like that will be your experience, and you'll be connected with those things, you know, like in the marketplace and the people, and also the lives around it. And you know, right now, yeah, we do have featured slots, and anyone who goes live, I believe, can request a featured slot. And so if there is one, yeah, well, we will send a push. We have scheduled featured slots, and we will send a push for that. But also, like if you go live and you have a bunch of followers, you're probably going to get a good amount of viewers without that push. Well, Jassy, you should just test it right now. I'd be curious, but
I just like hold in, like, hey guys, sorry, I'm not actually auctioning anything. We're just testing it out.
But yeah, in terms of marketing outside of pushes, I think it really depends. Like we're a small team, and so we can't like market every featured spot. What we usually do is if you tag us, we'll repost it. I'm not really involved on that side of things. But
as somebody that like posts and tags whatnot often. Yeah. I mean, 99% of the time, if you tag whatnot, that you're going live, have something selling, anything relating positively to whatnot, like you guys immediately repost it.
Yeah.
So
we'll do that, but
that's the advertisement I mean, at the least though, again, give me one other app, just like one. I'm just asking for one. One other app that notifies you guys, anybody following, everybody that has the app, when you go live, give another one that will repost when you're selling, going live, whatever. Like, give me just one other app. Like, I'll wait until the end of this. You guys wait. Tell me. We'll move on. But
so Nick, I see that Nick's question is
yes,
up. And,
I'm sorry, Nick. I think I saw it.
I think it's a valid question. And we definitely want to make the app accessible. Yeah. So we built it really, really quickly. The initial app, and what we're doing this year is we're doing two things. We're doing a complete rebrand, and we're also doing a complete like UX overhaul.
Okay.
So UX is just user experience, which is, can apply to people who are blind, can apply to people who can't see very well, and need, bigger fonts. And so as we go through this rebrand and this new sort of, I would say, visual uplift, in terms of how the app is structured and laid out, like that is something we will definitely consider.
Okay. I hope you got that, Nick. It's coming. All right. So, before I don't even need my questions. Before I get to my next question, DC Pops, Whatnots is starting to attract a lot of trolls in the chat, which I think speaks volumes to how successful it's been. Now, I mean, I agree. So I think that I think people get confused with, a lot of people have negative, I guess, images in their head when it comes to like flippers of like selling things for just a crazy, like just inflated price. Now, I just quickly want to explain why that's different. Now, if I take this maybe $10 pop and I post this on eBay or whatever or whatnot for $50. Now, that's kind of unrealistic. That doesn't make sense. Like, now, I'm not saying that nobody will buy it. Somebody might buy it. They might want this Nancy bad enough to where they buy it. Good for them. Now, the difference in Whatnot, or just auctioning in general, is that Whatnot, I should say Whatnot, because auctions in general, I guess you can make your starting point. And you can, and as well, for Whatnot, you can make your starting price different than, I think it starts at $5, right? Everything you put?
Whatever you want to put it as. So if you want to put it at 500, you can put it at 500.
So you have the ability to change it. However, I feel like, I don't want to say most, I feel like a lot of people, for the most part, tend to just leave it at 5 unless it's something bigger.
Yeah,
and like
it
just
seems like
much
people
more
just
valuable.
do 5.
Yeah, so and not a lot of things sell at just for 5. Like usually you have bids, and depending on who wants it bad enough, you have bids. But the difference here, which is very important, is that everybody buying and bidding, you guys are controlling that part of it. You guys are deciding, like, this guy's like, all right, cool, I want that Nancy for 50. But then the other guy's like, no, I'll go 55 for that. And then it's all based on how badly somebody wants it. That's it. PPG, don't go into the auction talking about PPG. PPG doesn't matter. It's based off of a certain point. And, I mean, PPG is based off of a million different things. So it's, again, not like a set Bible. It's just like a guide, pop price guide. It's just there to tell you kind of what it's going for. And if somebody feels the need to pay 3 times the amount of that pop, good for them. They're not being held hostage. It is not a scam. You can't say something is a scam when somebody's not being held against their will to purchase something, or that we're not sending somebody something. Do you know what I mean? I've heard that so much.
Yeah, I'd love to speak about that if that's okay. So, we're a new platform. What we're doing is honestly the first of its kind in the App Store. There's no auction system in the App Store for, any other app for any type of other category outside of collectibles. And so that said, there's a lot of excitement and there's a lot of thrill around bidding, and, just being able to compete with someone else is fun. Like if you've ever been to an auction house, and I haven't, but I've seen movies, and there's a lot of like competition and people who really want an item. And so I think the mixture of it being new, B, the thrill of it, and it's just like fun. Sometimes people are willing. Oh, and also see the safety side of it, because the people who are on, usually have a pretty good legitimate background, and so it's like you're buying from a trusted source, and so those 3 factors I think really help drive those things. And so sometimes people will overbid. I overbid myself. So,
I mean, I feel it was like 2 or 3 auctions ago. You bought like 5 or 6 like Willy sodas.
Yeah, I just wanted to
get the chase, but I mean, just to get that chase, like people will pay whatever they want to pay for whatever it is that they're looking for. And I don't know why DC, it's just like gambling. That's I guess if you win the bid, you win whatever you're betting. But it's just like gambling. It's whatever somebody's willing to spend is what they're willing to spend. And I don't feel like that's anybody else's business. Why does that matter? That this pop, like, because you're upset because you're outbidded by somebody who just obviously kind of wants it more and is willing to pay that price. Like, that's the only time I feel like people get upset, is that they don't get the pop that they want because somebody else just ridiculously outbidded them. I mean, be mad at that guy then. It's not the app's fault. It has nothing to do with whatnot. Responsibility, very, very important. People don't take
Yeah.
responsibility. All right,
But hey,
so
it's fun, and for people who want to bash on other people for overbidding, I think it's just kind of wrong. You're not that person. So let that person make their own choice. And, that person who's making that choice is probably pleased with their choice. So why put them down for that?
I mean, I can sit here and talk about why people decide to put people down for no reason, but we would be here forever. It's just what people do, I guess, when they're bored. But so talk us a little bit about the struggles of, and like just slightly different area of conversation. If you can, talk a little bit about maybe the struggles of launching an app, because I don't know about most of you guys, but I've never made one.
So this is actually the first app I've ever built.
Nice.
So my background is in software development, and I've done a lot of things like on the web. I've done a lot of backend things. So backend is like server side development. Some of the challenges are of launching an app. Well, getting people on it. So I think that was like our biggest challenge for Whatnot, was because there was this app, no one knew who we were, and people were like, what, like, is this a scam? So really developing trust.
I have to
people.
give it up to you
Yeah.
really quickly. Applesauce, Dr. Applesauce was the first person that I had ever heard about this
Yeah.
app from. And like consistently until then, like the other bigger people joined in, and I was like, all right, what is this? But Applesauce, I mean, cheers to
Yeah,
him.
Will and Box Attack were Dom from Box Attack were our first like initial sponsors. So when we first launched the app, we outreached to both of them, and they were like, "Who are you?" And it took a lot of convincing. And we also from my understanding, is both of them bought something on our app beforehand just to make sure like we
Yeah,
were legitimate. Yeah, honestly, like I cold outreach to both of them just to see if they would do a video on us, because we wanted exposure
sure.
within the community, and we felt like that was a really good way of getting exposure. But yeah, ever since then, like especially Will, like we have a year contract with him to do promotions for us. So I think the relationship that Whatnot and Will and even Dom, like it's become a really good relationship, and I can't thank them enough for actually putting themselves online and trusting us, because I know it's a lot for a particular person who is I guess you could consider an influencer to do that. It took a lot of convincing for Clint too, by the way. He's on this channel. I think like over 6 months I was like spamming his email, and one day
I started my chat, and I had thought about having Clint on before I even started it, and Clint was my very last chat of the year. I finally got him on a date. I get it. I mean, listen, but again, that's people almost get like upset because these guys are on there, but it's the fact that these guys are risking, like, I mean, reputation. If they're going on an app that doesn't do what it says it does, or is a scam of some sort, like, now they're promoting the app that does that. Like, I mean, it's again, when Applesauce had put it up, like, I was like, oh, cool. I feel like initially what I may have thought Whatnot was, and maybe what it was beforehand, was that like verification process on like what was like real and fake, or for the most part. But that's initially what I thought Whatnot was just kind of like a verification of like your collectible item.
yeah, like a verification service. That would be an
Yeah.
interesting idea. Kind of like, yeah, totally.
I mean, you already do that, like intertwined.
Oh,
So
I guess it's like us being like PSA for collectibles, but makes sense.
so your live auctions have maybe like effectively shut down 80% of them over social media. Like,
Oh,
That's
have they?
so exciting.
I don't know that. So, because
Logan.
I'm not on Instagram a lot, so I don't know really like what goes on there. But if we've done that, hey, I'm happy
So
for that.
I I remember, like, I mean, before I knew what Whatnot was, when every like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday, and then periodically throughout the week, people were going, I mean, live auctions, like 5, 6 auctions at once on IG, along with the other stuff that people do. But I mean, I barely see one now. People go live with different stuff, but I don't. I mean, auctions, like now, I feel like just the word auctions, you guys have done a really good job of like relating it to Whatnot. Like
Cool.
that's what people think of when they think of auctions.
Yeah, that's
So
what we wanted.
was that your plan right away, or did that kind of just like
Well, we knew that what we were doing was much better than Instagram and all the people running auctions on Facebook. And here's the reasons why. I only have been on like two of them, and that was a lot of the inspiration for auctions. Like we've heard about it, and I was on two, and I was like, "This is a terrible experience. Like, let's just apply that to Whatnot." One was like, okay, there's a 10-second latency between, the person who's interacting with the audience through comments and the video, and secondly, you're placing bids through comments, and then you have to collect payment information and then shipping information and then go back and forth. So there was a clear opportunity there.
I, actually Stash Stash is, I mean, Stash is one of, if not just, I mean, the best like auctioneer
Yeah,
that, and I
yeah,
remember,
and going down to like how I said people being unique about their
yeah.
style of auctions, that like between you and Stash Loot, like keep it up, like and that's why people go to your auctions because they're entertaining. So
So Jay, and I mean anybody outside of this live, you guys repeat it, I'll deny it. But like my first auction ever with Whatnot was Halloween, and I remember Curtis reaching out and being like, "Hey, like this is going to be kind of like the day where we're testing out like multiple lives at once." So of course I go in and I'm like, "Come on, like I ride with Stash." I'm like because in like I've never, I don't think I've really watched too many auctions on Whatnot, but I'm like, bro, this is like the best auctioner on Instagram. Like you guys are putting me up against. So I'm like, that's crazy. And Curtis is like, listen, like, do your thing, don't worry. And I'm just like, come on, man, Jay, like that's who I'm going up against right now.
I think Jay said the same thing about you. He's like, "Dang it, I'm going up against Jassy."
That's crazy. Jay, I love you. No, it really comes down to, and I mean I've been in Jay, and although you don't see him, you see the light show, you hear the voice like amped up, excited, ready to go. So that's just important to be a little bit different than everybody else. You have music on in the background and you talk. Okay, that's cool. Again, depending on who you are, it might work out for you. But for the most part, you get like spit into the what everybody else is doing. And Halloween, it just happened to be Halloween that I was dressed up. And after I was like, oh, I mean, I'm doing this every auction. Every auction, it's happening.
Is that how that came about? Like, because you dressed up for Halloween, you figured
I
I might as
got
well dress up for
so
every
many
auction.
messages, Logan, of
Yeah,
people like, you need to dress up more often, blah, blah, blah,
yeah.
cosplay, this, that. And I was like, I mean, it's
I didn't
fun.
know
I
that.
don't mind doing it.
I didn't know that, honestly. I thought you were just like into dressing up. So it really originated from the time of your first auction at Whatnot. That's cool.
That's it. I
Um,
was never like I love Halloween, all things scary, all that good stuff, but I was never one to like dress up. I was home on my couch watching movies all night. Like I
yeah.
wasn't out trick or
I,
treating.
I can't imagine, like, for what you do, you put a lot of effort into your auction. So, I mean, it's well deserved that you do get a good audience every time you do it. So,
The disgusting amount of stress that I put myself through the last like 10 minutes. Like I have my little elf being like, all right, 7 minutes. I'm like, all right, like screaming from the bathroom, like trying to finish like everything that I'm doing. It's
yeah.
listen, and if I didn't enjoy it as much as I do, like I wouldn't spend as much energy into those things. But you guys have created an app that's not only trustworthy to the buyer, but to the seller. Like now I don't I mean, I don't know if, you know, everybody that has anything on Whatnot, you guys will know, but now it's kind of like we get to decide on what we cancel. So there are people that I've seen go into lives of bigger people and just bid and bid and bid, and at the end they cancel 10 things and it's all the same thing. Oh, press the button by mistake. You didn't press that button 10 times by mistake. But
Yeah.
you guys being so good in your customer service, you know, would be like, okay, but I like
Now
this.
it's on you, so you
Yeah,
can make the
now
decision.
we get blamed. It's all on us, which is fine. I,
Yeah.
for the most part, will accept any cancellations. But if you cancel 5 things and have the same reason, well, I mean, no. Tough noodles, Cookie. I'm sending it to you. You're getting your pop.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess talking about what your marketing strategy was not, I feel like, so safe to say it was fair to just try to get as many influencers as you could onto the app. Obviously, that's how anybody gets their name out. Is that fair to
Yeah.
say that,
And
like, that was kind of,
and you so there it was twofold. Like we felt like, okay, well, if we're going to bring influencers onto the app and actually go live, they're not going to jeopardize their reputation. Um so yeah, I mean, it naturally, like, it really helped with bringing new users onto the app as well. So it worked out really well. And people
I mean,
might not understand that, but you know, we are a business and we're supporting a lot of employees, and you know, we're trying to feed them and their family, and like, you guys are all a part of that, so we really appreciate that. But yeah, we have to grow Whatnot to continue to do that.
I mean, like, it's not a situation where, like, you go into Whatnot, try to create an account, do really well, and then don't get to, like, move forward. Like, it's all about trust. Like,
Hmm.
if you are, I mean, just somebody that, you know, maybe you don't have a ton of social media and you're not somebody that, like, can really be referenced back as trustworthy, go make an account, sell things, send out the things that you sell, like, build your reputation to Whatnot. I remember, along with Will, Paul, Clint, like, going live in the beginning, I also saw people that I have never seen before in my life, and I'm like, who the heck is this guy? And it's like, well, the people that know, they'd be like, well, that guy's been selling on Whatnot since it started, so it only makes sense that he would be able to go live. So it's a it's it's a false, almost like, cover over the you have to be somebody to be on Whatnot. That's not necessarily true.
I'd
You
love
need
to
to
give
be
an example of
trusted.
someone who no one knew of, and or a couple of people who no one knew of, but you know, they were selling on Whatnot in the past, and
Yeah.
uh, they, you know, as a result of going on Whatnot and, you know, creating a user, like, or whatever, a fan base, they usually get a good amount of people on every time. One of them is Funko Pop enthusiast. He's doing a lot of different things like designer toys, and you know, we become close friends as a result of him coming on Whatnot. He lives in New York City, and like, he does this for fun, and goes on, I think, once or twice a week now. Another person, you know, he had a website online called monthlypops.com, but like, I don't think a lot of people knew who he was. He didn't have a YouTube channel. I don't think
No.
a lot of people, like, he was just started his website. So as a result of, you know, Whatnot, I think a lot of things have helped, in terms of, you know, a lot of people, especially with COVID. Um, so
There's
yeah.
like a million more people online thanks to COVID now. So anybody, I mean, if you're a good person, you're not looking to scam people, not looking to make a quick buck and do anything crazy, you can go and sell on Whatnot. Now, if again you don't have that trusted background where people have bought and received and had great whatever with you, you cannot get upset that this whatever app if it's not Whatnot, any other app. Like, you can't get upset that they don't automatically trust you enough to go live and sell to hundreds of people. Like, that's just unrealistic. They have to do their due diligence as well as the rest of us. So they need to make sure that you're good before they let you go live. Like, that's just common sense. I mean, it's good customer service is to not, do what you can to not let your customers get scammed. So I feel like that's like a positive thing that we're overlooking here.
Yeah, I think that's why Clint mentioned I can't say who, but yeah, mentioned that in the comment. Anyways,
If you have a negative reputation or just have like negative experiences with people in the community, and again, some things are who you know. If a lot of the more influential people know more negative things than positive things about you, then like that's not going to translate well. It's just if you're a good person, you do good things, you're a decent anything. I mean, you'll do fine on Whatnot. Like I mean, I have officially, as of like last week, taken everything off of any other platform that I have. Everything I have for sale is all on Whatnot. And I have never sold anything quicker than I do on Whatnot. So thank you, Logan. It's an amazing app. I love it. All right. So you guys have any futures? I mean, I'm sure you have plenty of like future plans, but is there anything coming up that you can share with the app?
yeah,
So you guys had
I can share everything that's coming up with
I mean,
it.
yeah.
I'm happy to.
Yeah.
Anyways, so a couple things is, as I said, we want to look into international. I think there's a big opportunity there. We already have a user base for it. So how do we make it, a lot easier in terms of selling out there and also lowering shipping cost. Number two, which I think this is going to be really big for us, is we're doing a complete rebrand and visual uplift. So right now, the UX and the UI, it needs a little bit of work. And so, what we've done so far, I think works pretty well, but we just want to make it feel like an amazing experience. So like as soon as you go on, it's just like, everything works really well. Everything is really well laid out. And number two is we want to open up a lot of other different categories, or sorry, number three, open up a lot of other categories. So, right now I would say we're in 6 or 7 different categories, but we plan on adding to that. Because, as I said, I think, the way that we see this app is at one point you'll have a very personalized experience with the things that you like. That being said, I know that we're really focused on the collectibles side. What we've realized is if you think about a collector is an enthusiast. You're an enthusiast of Funko Pops. You might be an enthusiast of Pokemon cards. That being said, I think that our app can really apply to a lot of specific things that are that enthusiasts like, and the long-term vision of Whatnot is to make it a destination for enthusiasts. And so that would be like, I really like skiing or I really like cooking. And so that's the long-term vision, and that's where we see ourselves. And that being said, like as a collector or as an enthusiast, it's almost similar if you think about it in terms of the behavior. And so, yeah, we really want to make this platform awesome for everyone.
I mean, it is. So, actually, this is also a very important part that I feel like people just kind of skip by. This app isn't like in full force, like Facebook mode. Like, you're still in like your building steps, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're a small team. To just give you guys some context in terms of like how many people work at Facebook and Instagram. I mean, there's hundreds of engineers, if not thousands. So right now we're about 4 people in terms of the engineering team, and we plan on expanding that quite a bit. If you guys have any great software developer friends, feel free to intro them to me. But yeah, we're really expanding on the engineering side, and one thing is like we build really fast. So, sometimes there might be glitches, there might be issues. We're really trying to dial in that experience and make it so it can handle a lot more traffic. You don't run into the issues that you run into, sometimes like getting kicked off of the stream. So there's a lot of things that we're really trying to dial in on the tech side. It's actually pretty tricky to do, and like this particular piece around lives. And so yeah, like I think it's just like this year you'll find that the overall experience of Whatnot, which is driven by the tech and also the visuals, will be greatly improved. And I'm really excited to show you guys what's in store.
Did you anticipate this? And now, just as a reference, when did you guys officially start Whatnot? Like, when did you launch the app? Or website, rather.
We launched the website, I believe, in November of 2020. And then, or sorry, not 2020, 2019. 2020 was like 3 months ago in terms of November. But yeah, we launched about probably a year and 4 months ago as a website. The app came out, I think, like end of December of 2019. So a little over a year ago.
Did you anticipate it? I mean, growing like this?
Okay, so I'm not going to lie. Grant and I did.
Okay, that's fair. If you know what you have is great, then good.
Well, if you think about it, like we both believed in what we were doing a lot. We believed there was a use case for what we were doing. And so we just felt like the problem that we were trying to solve with Whatnot was needed. And to us, we thought if we could do it right, by getting people on the app, like naturally people would just stay. So yeah, I think as weird as it sounds, yeah, I think, we did think that it would grow. Maybe not like not this much as much as it has, to this point, but we did think that at some point, like it would really catch on.
I mean, good job, man. Like I feel like everybody's question or everybody's answer would have been like, oh my God, no, I had no idea to go this big. But like, I'm glad that you guys had expectations of what was needed and what you did. And I'm really happy that it worked out well for you guys. You guys, I mean, I've seen, Whatnot is mentioned so many times that people are like, oh my God, Whatnot. And I'm just like, I'm never tired of hearing it. Like, are you upset? Go download the app. Like, you'll know why. It's a great app. You guys did such a good job.
It seems like we've really influenced a couple different communities, which is the Funko Pop community, which is like my passion, and then the Pokemon community, which is Grant's passion. But like, imagine us influencing a lot more communities. And that's really our goal. So I'm excited for this year. I think, you guys are going to see a lot in store. We're growing the team quite a bit. And so, I don't think, and one thing I want everyone to know here. So like, as we get bigger as a company, we won't lose sight of you guys who are our users. One of, our values is listening to our users and really getting their feedback. So, as we expand and grow, we'll never lose sight of our users. And that's like a promise that's a promise that I'll make for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah.
This can't be more true, by the way.
Yeah, I actually saw like a couple videos I saw once, and
every video that Clip mentions
and
Whatnot.
Like, let's take a shot for every time he says Whatnot.
Gets bombarded. It's great. I absolutely, and every reference to mentioning Whatnot a lot, I always mention Clint because people get so upset because of how often. And I mean, whatever, man. He's a seller, man. Like, that's what he does. You don't like it, don't watch it. They're still gonna watch it, but it's great. People get so annoyed hearing it all the time.
Professor Josh says two things I'd like to address. So one is I want to see a Lego community. Yes, you might see that in the next few weeks.
Comics?
Comics. Oh, 100%. In fact, if you guys go to this, can I post it in here? See, I don't think I can.
In the comments, you might be able to.
Our jobs page. It's our jobs page. If you go to jobs.lever.co/whatnot, I don't think it lets me share it. Oh, can I do it in private chat? It says private chat.
Oh, go ahead. You can share it to me. I can probably share it to the group.
We have a few different partnerships managers, one of them being around comics books. You'll see we have comic books, magic cards, Pokemon, sports cards, video games. So we have a bunch of different roles around that we're opening for that.
All right, guys, I just posted that link. If you want to copy and paste it, you guys can take a look at that if you have anything to offer to that. My liver hates Clint.
And then, hold on, what's another thing? Oh, sorry. The other thing I wanted to address with Professor Josh was don't forget about us old peeps for Whatnot Con. Yeah, we're definitely going to do a Whatnot Con. As soon as this COVID shit like frees up, I definitely want to like rent a place somewhere cool, and like have do something that's going to be awesome. So
I'll have to wear a costume. I mean,
I'll wear a mascot suit. Clint, you could be our mascot.
That would be amazing. Clint does. I mean, he mentions it a lot, and it's fine. Like that's where you sell stuff. I mentioned it a million times, but you know, people pick on Clint for anything. Really stupid. So I'm really excited that you're going to be adding comics because I need. Like there are a few comic websites, but you don't get anything out of them unless you pay for that. Like pay for like the biggest service. So if you could like whenever that's ready, I'll be hopping on board for the comics. Is that going to be actually question? I feel like I really haven't scanned anything other than like Funko Pops. Are you going to be able to scan things like comics? Or is it something you'll have to manually type in?
If there's a barcode on it, yes. At some point, like with Pokemon cards, there are no barcodes. What we will have is like the ability to take a photo, and we'll use like some computer vision algorithm to try to like compare it to something. That's like down the road. So
okay, all right.
But if there's a barcode, it should scan.
If it's in the system of some sort. Okay. I have a couple of questions that I saw pop up more than once. Will you guys ever try UPS or FedEx other than USPS?
Yeah, so we're actually trying to negotiate with UPS right now in terms of rates. Whether or not we actually roll out with it is the second thing. I think like what we want to do is send a survey out to our users and see what they prefer. Like USPS has its pros and cons. And I think, so does UPS. Obviously, UPS is much more reliable, especially like during COVID. But around USPS, it's more of a convenience thing. And a lot of people, when they sell on other marketplaces, right, that are using USPS. So we're a little bit worried that it might be hard for them to switch. But what we might do is kind of like try to do a mixture of the two. In terms of like being able to switch between USPS or UPS.
Is that a big deal to have like two or more than one like shipping option like that? Like from a back end perspective?
Oh, from a back end perspective? No. I mean, it's not that hard to do. It's just more of like, how do we make it a good experience? And actually like thinking about it more like in terms of consistency and reliability, I feel like it should just be one, like UPS or USPS. But yeah, we're still kind of working through that. I don't know exactly how that will work.
Okay. Weird Flex, hey love, welcome in. Will there be a way for us to upload designer toys and input the information instead of the add designer toy?
Yeah, we're actually working on that right now. So it's a great question. There will be a plus button, and that plus button, you can fill out all the information about the product. Because what's happening right now is when you take the photo, what we're doing is we're actually doing that stuff ourselves. So we're hoping that you guys can help streamline that effort in terms of adding to our catalog. And then yeah, like it'll be that around that I want to bring up in terms of features of this year. What we really want to do is improve search and the hierarchy of search and like the ability to filter. So right now I think it's like kind of a janky experience. But we see us really like up leveling that piece and that part, that functionality. So yeah, like I think this year you guys will see a drastically improved search experience on top of like being able to filter.
What I like most about what I initially, I guess there's much more things that I like better at now at this point, but what I initially liked when I started using Whatnot was when you would scan to pop to check pricing, was that
Mhm.
you guys popped up the difference between a con and a shared sticker. That might have been my favorite because I don't know how many times I have mispriced a pop from using the Funko Pop freaking app to scan
Yeah,
it, and it always scans the Comic-Con one, so I'd always have to go back in. That's maybe my favorite aspect of like adding pops on there, is that you
that's fair.
guys
Yeah, I mean
separate.
they both have the same barcode for, you know, the shared or the convention
Yep.
stickers, and so yeah, I'm glad it makes it easier because like when we scan the barcode, we don't know which one, so obviously you got to select which one.
Well, I like that you guys have provided an option rather than just assuming which one I have. I enjoyed that. That's one of my favorite things. I don't solely based on that feature. Whatnot is what I use to price everything because I don't want to use the app and then like, oh, it's
Yeah.
a sticker, and then Photoshop stickers also are a little wonky. So, I mean, thank you for another beautiful thing.
Danny Ramirez is saying, "Hi Logan. In the future, are you going to have a limit on how many commons can be listed for an auction?" So, to be honest, no. I think it's really up to the seller to decide what they want to do. That being said, like, you know, if people are selling, you know, too many commons, like, don't join their stream. But I will use this as a promotion for my own auction, which is going to be next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, I'm going live. I don't think it's on the calendar, or it's not on. I haven't added it yet. But every single thing that I'm adding on there has a PPG value of at least like 400 plus. And I have about 30 items. And so they're like mega grails that go from $400 to like $5,000.
There you go. Well,
So I think it'll be probably one of the more exciting auctions.
I'll be there.
I don't think anyone's done anything like that yet, but I'm excited.
A nothing but Grail auction? No.
Nothing but like mega grails.
Yeah, I'll be there. That's amazing. Next, when do you have a time yet?
Let me look at the calendar. Hold on. I think I'm on it.
I mean, yeah, no, just, I mean, tell me what time I'll be there. We'll be there.
Let's see. Let's look at the Funko schedule. This is next week, I believe Wednesday. I don't see my name. Did I get scheduled? Anyways, sometime next Wednesday, look out for me. It'll be a big one. So,
Being that you created the app, you might be able to like send a notification out if you feel like it.
yeah. But you know, maybe people are at work or want to plan for it, but it's gonna be like this is gonna be a no
Sometime
joke.
when. Like,
And I
do
might
you
lose
think?
a lot of money, and that's totally fine.
Well, I'll be there to see how much stuff I can get. So don't you worry. Post something if you can on Whatnot and let everybody know when you're going.
Okay.
Like the wonderful half
I'll
partner
do a
of
little
Whatnot.
preview because we have previews now. I'll do a preview. I'll like show you guys all the stuff, which you guys are going to be like, "Whoa, not one common."
I did a screen recording on my phone of what I listed for like my auction and whatnot, and whoever was on the app at that time responded. They were like, "Oh my god, you can totally go and do like a preview and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh, my bad."
Yep.
All right, so one last thing that I want to ask, and then we're going to kind of wrap it up. But do you, just like you kind of incorporate the PPG values into Funko Pops, is there any way that you're going to be able to kind of do that with the other items that you sell? Like we'll
Yeah,
kind of be able to look at.
the goal is to do it for everything. Right
Oh,
now, we have the whatnot estimated value, and I'm not gonna lie, just because of resources, we haven't been able to work on it much. But in probably the next couple months, you know, it only works for Funko Pops. So in the next couple months, we'll make it so it works for everything else. We just have to like spend a few days refactoring the code to make it like work well. But yeah, we will have an estimated value for everything.
if I don't have to spend $30 a month on like GP analysis to look at comics, that would be great. So
Oh, okay. That's good.
whenever you guys get to that, that would be fantastic. All right. Is there anything that you want to kind of end with? Anything else that you want to throw out there before we wrap it up here?
No, like,
question.
I really appreciate you having me. I had fun. And your questions were great. I really appreciate everyone who has helped us get to where we are, and like it's pretty amazing. I get to wake up and do what I love, and so I couldn't do that without you all. And Whatnot is not just me; it's a whole team of people, and so like we work really hard for you guys, and we're all in it to like make the best thing for you guys. So.
I mean, I feel like I can speak for, again, there's salt out there, but I can speak for 99% of people that sell on Whatnot. And I mean, we can thank you and your entire team for creating such an amazing app, a safe, reliable, just in general, like generally great experience for not only selling items, but buying them, going live. We even have a profile now, guys. Like I could put like in a little about me. It's great. I absolutely love what you guys have done with the app. And I mean, I'll be here for whatever you guys have next. So I only wish amazing things for it.
Well, I appreciate it. And everyone have a great night.
Thank you so much, Logan. I will talk to you soon.
See ya. Bye.
All right, guys, because we were, like super late as usual, we were on later tonight. So, thank you guys for coming in, and I hope you guys enjoyed the information in the chat, and I hope you guys got something good out of it. I feel like there's just a lot of maybe miscommunication, or there's just a lot of like different, not important, insignificant things that people blow up into proportion for absolutely no reason. Deathwing, my God, you are amazing. Thank you, babe. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. Every single one of you guys, thank you. But like I said, everybody's going to have an opinion about something, and I try not to give mine so often, but some things like my chat, can warrant my opinion if necessary. But if you're a good person, you're doing good things, and you're not on Whatnot, and you have things to sell, unless it's franchise kicks thong, you should be able to sell it. He doesn't sell those. Those are special order only. But anyways, I mean, the app is amazing. It has, and I mean, I am a Joe Blow nobody, like compared to these other people. So if I have a really good experience, I'm sure you guys will as well, but don't make any assumptions. Download the app, check it out. It is incredible. Customer service is great. They pretty much fix or make you feel better about anything that goes on. So I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you for, coming and hanging out. We have Cletus on next Wednesday. And more details to come. 9 p.m. as usual, but we got some good stuff. We got some good stuff coming up. I believe after him, we have Nightmare Toys, we got Christy, we have like so much going on, and I can't even think because my brain is just surrounded in Whatnot now. USPS didn't show up today, as usual. Is that a surprise? No. So whether they show up tomorrow or not, all packages will be definitely out by tomorrow. And sneak peek, it's not really a sneak peek or like a secret because I'm telling you now, but I'm probably doing a pop-up auction on Tuesday. Won't be scheduled, so you will only be notified if you're following me. If you're not, Jazzy H1K is the username. Not like House of 1,000 Pops, blah, blah, blah. It was too long of a username, It wouldn't let me do it, so that's what it is. But anyways, I'll see you guys next Wednesday. You guys are amazing. I love you so much. What is the boo for? I see all of this. You guys are great. All right, I love you so much. And hopefully let's cross our fingers that we're I don't know, on schedule for Friday's video for once, maybe. But I love you, and I will see you guys next Wednesday. Have a wonderful rest of your week.